Good morning. This is the video for the lesson rounding numbers to 1 million. So when we look at rounding numbers, we're always trying to think of that phrase which we've done a little bit before, which is if it's 5 or more, let it soar, which means round it to the next one up. And if it's 4 or less, let it rest, which means let it stay on the one that's already on. Not go down one below that, but stay on the one that's on, and hopefully that'll be clearer as we go through. So the first one here is trying to complete the sentences to round the numbers to the nearest 10,000. The first one's been done for you. So you've got these 4 numbers, and it says for this number here, 61,500, it's closer to 60,000 than it is to 70,000. So 61,500 rounds to 60,000 to the nearest 10,000. And then you've got to just try and complete it for the rest of them. So remember, it's rounding to the nearest 10,000, so it'll either be 60,000 or 70,000. And here, like I was talking before, where we look at when we're rounding, if we're rounding to 10,000, we actually look at the thousands column, which is there. So if it's rounding to 10,000, we look at the column to the right, and round it of the 10,000 column, which is the thousands column, and then we look at that one. So is it? We look at number 1 and say, is it 5 or more? Let it soar. So we'd round that up to this one up to 7. Or if it's 4 or less, we let it rest, and which means we keep it the same. So it's a 1, which is 4 or less. So we let it rest on the 6 that is already on. Okay. And then here we've got 64,300. So you've just got to fill in the blanks. It's closer to something than it is to something else. So it rounds to something to the nearest 10,000. Then here, I'll do this one as well, just because it's we've got another example. So we're looking at 67,250. So again, we're looking at the thousands column, and we're thinking, is it 5 or more? Now it's a 7, so that's 5 or more. It's closer to 70,000, so we actually, when we say 5 or more, let it soar, we mean 5 or more, add 1 to the 10,000s column. So that's 6 would become a 7, and then all the rest become zeros. So it's closer to 70,000 than 60,000. So 67,250 rounds to 70,000 to the nearest 10,000. I'll let you try that one on your own. Here we've got a very similar thing, except now we're working with hundreds of thousands. So again, try and fill in those blanks, looking at the numbers that it's asking you to. What's it closer to? Is it closer to 600,000 or is it closer to 700,000? Sorry, and then see if you can fill in those blanks. Then we've got here, so it's asking you to draw an arrow and label 350,000 on the number line. So you've got 300,000 and 400,000. So where would that go on the number line? And what does it round to the nearest 100,000? Remember, when we're rounding to the hundreds of thousands, we're now looking in the tens of thousands column, and we may change or leave the same the hundred thousands column. Number 4, we've got a table that has the price of 4 different homes. And you're trying to round each price to the nearest 10,000 and the nearest 100,000. So I'll do one with you. So this is a terraced house. The price is £194,167. It's asking you to round to the nearest 10,000. So this is the 10,000s column. So we look in the thousands column, and it's a 4. So 4 or less, we let it rest. So the tens of thousands column stays the same, and then everything else is replaced with a placeholder. So that one would be 190, 000. And then when we're trying to round it to the nearest 100,000, I'm just going to get rid of all those bits I just did. We look at the tens of thousands column to see if we have to change the hundreds of thousands column. So we look at that 10,000s column, it's 9, so that's 5 or more, which means we let it soar. We add 1 to this column here, so that would become a 2. So then we've just got 200 2 for the 200,000, and everything else. Oh dear, I'm drawing this with a mouse. It's not quite as easy as it seems. That'd be 200,000. That should be at 0. Okay, and then try and do those for the rest of them. For number 5, it's asking you to round the numbers to the correct values. So this number here to the nearest 10, think about what's in the ones column. When it's to the nearest 100, what's in the tens column? Tens column. When it's to 1,000, what's in the hundreds column? When it's to the nearest 10,000, what's in the thousands column? And when it's to the nearest 100,000, think what's in the 10,000 column. And do the same on this side as well. For number 6, Rosie rounds a number to the nearest 100,000. Her answer is 700,000. What is the smallest number she could have started with? So what is the smallest number that rounds to 700,000? And then Amir says the greatest integer, remember an integer is just a whole number. That's what it means, a whole number, so not a decimal point. That rounds to 700,000 is 750,000. So he thinks the biggest number you can have that rounds to 700,000 would be 750,000. Is he correct? And how do you know? Number 7, tiles are sold in boxes of 10. Teddy needs 84 tiles. I need 8 boxes. So he says I need 8 boxes because 84 rounded to the nearest 10 is 80. Explain why he's wrong. So he needs 84 tiles. That gives you the clue. And then Dora needs 103 tiles. How many boxes will she need? Okay, hopefully this has been helpful. And I'll check back with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.